Something that I just discovered in the past 24 hours that was very, very powerful for me, almost brought me to tears. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? So in this video, I'm going to share with you something that I just discovered in the past 24 hours that was very, very powerful for me. It almost brought me to tears when I discovered this. So what I discovered, a little bit of background. So right now I've been driving all around the country, and right now I'm actually in my my childhood bedroom that I grew up in at my parents' house. I'm moving out to California, to Encinitas. Before I'm moving out across the country, I figured I'd stop by my parents' place just to visit them, because it might be another 6 months before I get to see them. And after this, I'm going up to New Hampshire to see Peter and his family, and then going out to California. Okay, but when I was here at home, my mom shared with me that she had found a letter in my room that I had written to myself when I was 17 years old. And, I'm not going to spoil anything, but, for those that haven't watched my video about, my struggle with drug addiction in my teenage years and some of the battles that I went through, feel free to check out that video, but this is going to be playing on top of that and shows sort of the evolution that came out of that whole low point for me in my life, when I just came from rock bottom and, was coming out of drug rehab my senior year of high school. Okay, so basically the spring of my senior year of high school, it looks like I had actually written out a letter to myself. This is a 3-page letter, double-spaced, and basically what I wrote out was some of my goals and what I wanted my life to look like at that point. So when I wrote this letter, this was 1 week before I had gone into business with Peter. I didn't know anything about internet marketing at this time. I wasn't doing anything online with the business yet at that time. This was basically 1 week before I ever got into business. I had written out what I wanted the next 5 years of my life to look like. And this is very, very powerful, and I want to share this with you. So I'm going to go ahead and read the letter. So, part 1. These past 4 years have taught me many lessons, meaning my last 4 years of high school. The knowledge I've gained throughout high school has been very valuable. I'm very blessed to have been able to attend a school such as Greenwich High. These facilities here are great, and the teachers all are very smart and helpful. One thing that I've learned is to not take anything for granted. From time to time, I take a minute out of my day to count my blessings. I've made lifelong friendships, gotten into a great college, earned money from multiple jobs, and I've learned more about myself as a person. I'm thankful for everything this school has taught me, and I know that I'm very lucky to be put through the Greenwich school system. I know that other school districts don't even compare to ours. When I first arrived at high school, I was immature. I wasn't quite sure where I would find my place. My best friend from middle school had gone to another high school, and I knew this meant that I would have to venture out and find other friends. I joined the crew team and met 2 great friends. I know I might have made some bad decisions early on in my high school career that affected my family and social life, but the consequences of my actions have only made me stronger mentally. Instead of being rebellious against my parents by doing the opposite of what they taught me, I value and respect my family now. I realize that family is the most important bond that you can have. They are the ones who will always be there for you and love you unconditionally. A new sense of maturity has especially come to me this second semester of senior year. In a few months, I'll be living on my own with no parental control in Charleston, South Carolina. My parents were reluctant to send me off to school because they didn't trust that I would be able to handle myself in a responsible manner. Basically, for 4 years, this is what my actions would have reflected. However, I've really changed as a person in these past 4 years. I've taken a step back from the party scene at Greenwich High School that I was involved with for so long. I've even cut off some relationships with friends that were based on unhealthy activities. I've been focused on work, exercise, and just healthy living habits. I want to make sure that my life is completely in order before I head off to college. This will give my parents assurance that I am living responsibly. But moreover, I'm doing it for myself. These next 4 years are going to be a pivotal point in the next 50 years of my life. My healthy living decisions now, such as sobriety and exercise, have made me a happier person now, and I will live a happier life in the future. When I'm adult, I want to look back and think fondly of my memories at Greenwich High School. I want to remember my great teachers and all of the friends that I made along the way. It will be interesting to see in about 10 years or so where myself and all of my peers will be in life. I want to remember how happy I felt when I had gotten into the college I wanted, or even when I got back a good report card. I want to remember the motivation and drive that led me to do well in school. I want to remember my ability to do well when I really needed to. I hope that this is a quality that stays with me throughout life. If I get to read this letter again as an adult, it would be interesting to see where I actually ended up in life versus what I planned. I'm joining my brother's internet marketing business this summer in order to make an extremely large income during and after college. After college, my brother estimates that we will be making millions of dollars a year. I want to move to Costa Rica after college and live a stress-free life. I hope I can read this letter in 5 years and laugh because everything worked out just as we thought it would. This makes this transition this summer especially important because I need to learn my brother's business so that I can successfully work during the school year and generate an income. I plan on going to my brother's house in Storrs, Connecticut every single week so that I can learn as much as I possibly can before I go to school. My brother is a mentor. If stuff actually works out as I plan, I will be very happy. In this economy, I've noticed that kids can't rely on college to get them a good job. I've seen my peers graduate college and have an extremely hard time finding a job. I do not want to be dependent on college to earn an income. I want to use college strictly as a learning experience. Okay, so this is the letter here, and that's the end of the letter. And there's a lot of stuff in there that isn't really relevant. Like moving to Costa Rica, didn't really end up doing that. Although I'm moving to California, 1 block from the beach, so maybe that's even better, right? But basically, what I want to talk about is the power of goal setting and visualization for your life. I mean, I wrote this letter before I'd ever made any money, before I even knew anything, before I even had any skill. I knew that by the time I was graduating college, and I graduated college in 2017, I knew that by the time I was going to be graduating that I was going to be making millions a year. And, lo and behold, it didn't even take that long because by 2015, which was my, sophomore, junior year of college, we ended up doing $3 million in business revenue. So what I want to talk about is just the importance of this kind of stuff. Even still to this day, every year in January, I write down, detailed goals of what I want to accomplish, of what I want my life to look like 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And honestly, when I first read this letter, it almost brought me to tears because it was just so powerful. I was writing in the letter that I'd hoped that when I read this letter as an adult, that I could laugh because some of these things came true. And lo and behold, they did, right? So what I suggest for you is that, if you've never done this as an exercise, if you've never written out this sort of stuff, like exact visualization for what you want your future to look like, exact goals, exact revenue figures, exact timelines, you have to do this, okay? It's so powerful. What happens is your mind will start to, unconsciously start to move towards these goals, during your day, and even while you're subconsciously, at night sleeping, your mind will start to move towards what you want, right? So of course, this takes a lot of hard work, And this letter was written in 2012 when I was 17, and Peter and I went into business together a week later after this letter was written. And it wasn't until, I probably didn't realize this at the time, but it wouldn't have been until 3 years later after writing this letter that we were actually generating a significant income online. It was 3 years of failure, of earning no income, of sitting in my college dorm room, working on the computer, waiting tables, filling up people's water glasses, investing $300 a month from my paycheck into paid advertising to see if I could make something work, and repeating this trial and error process for 3 years until I finally got something to hit. And we did 3 million in revenue in 2015, and we haven't had a year that we've done less than that revenue figure since then. And now we're closing on over $20 million in revenue online, just between 2015 and 2020 here. So this is it, guys. This is so powerful. So if you've never done this sort of visualization exercise before, you have to do this. I mean, I was just blown away when I read this about how this all kind of came true, and the little details like moving to Costa Rica and stuff like that. I mean, honestly, I did look into moving to Costa Rica, but it just didn't make any sense because I don't know, it's just not really what I want to do right now. But anyways, guys, I hope that you got some value out of this, and I'll see you in the next video.